It is an honor, it is a privilege. But before I get started, I want to thank Reverend Amon for being the code cracker, for cracking the book open to make the words plain so that I was able to connect what I was thinking with what I was hearing as I grew up. I want to thank Dr. Ron for connecting my understanding and my intelligence together so that I can know and be aware that this spiritual universe is operating in and through me. And then I want to thank Reverend Gerald for being the inspiration of encouraging me to assist, to step up, to participate, and to let my light shine and come from behind the scenes. Really, thank you, brother. And I want to thank Reverend Lisa for being the love that balances me, that guides me and assists me and holds me up and encourages me to share and to continue to be and stand on the love and the ideas that we have come together in. Thank you. And then all of you, thank you for joining this meeting. Thank you for blessing this church and assisting this church to grow and to become what it is. Thank you, Tommy, for being considerate and kind and speaking words to me to encourage me to continue moving forward. It is the thing in life that we all seek, that we all desire, that we all want. But it is a struggle for some of us, most of us, because sometimes our belief and our ideas don't match up with what it is that we want to do. And so sometimes because of that hurt, because of that strife, because of that pain, we don't look at our lives and think that we're successful. But I would like to ask the question, what are we judging it from? What perspective are we judging it from? What are we looking at in our lives to think that we're not successful? Because we all fall down, but we all get the opportunity to stand up. It is no different than a child. When he's crawling on his knees, he's trying to figure out what it is that he's doing down here, because he's seeing everyone around him walking and standing up straight. But yet he cannot flex his body muscles so that he can be erect. So he looks up with his head and he thinks and sees that one day I'm going to stand and be like that. And this is the hope and this is the aspiration that we must have. We must believe that we will awaken and arrive and stand up and be erect and be righteous in our own thoughts, in our families, and our life, and connect the principles to the reality that we want. It is only through our understanding of this life. It is only when we believe that we can, that we will. See, this awakening is only saying that we are asleep to something. It's like being under amnesia, not quite fully there. It's sort of like when I just had my hip done, when you come out, you don't really quite know. It's like that little dough when you're growing, you can't really function, but somehow, some way that I am. But when we awaken to the power that has birthed all things into existence, and we realize that it operates in and through us, and hold on, then, and only then, will we be able to stand tall in the midst of all our troubles. In the Bible, it says, there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who shall awaken him? See, these circumstances and conditions come in our lives to awaken us, to show us the strength that we have, the work that we need to do to overcome, to become more enlightened, more aware, or become structured in a way that will make us better. See, because in Hebrew, Judah means the praise of the Lord. And see, this is what it was that we have to go through. We have to see God's strength. And through God's strength is how we're able to conquer these things, whatever these circumstances may be, whatever the obstacle, whatever the trouble, whatever the pain, whatever the hindrance, whatever the challenge. See, having Judah go first, it means that the praises must go up. See, we got to give the glory to God. We can tell God that, you know what, in this current thoughts that I may be in, I may not know what it is that I do, but I know that you know what it is that I need to do. So I'm grateful and thankful, and I'm opening up my mind to receive the ideas from you so that I can, and I know that you will answer. See, that's why the book says, before thy call, I will answer. It is just waiting on us to have what's called a recognition that this power is in, through us, and operates as us. See, the Lion of Judah is a prominent symbol. It represents as being a symbol of strength, kingship, and pride. And when we believe that we have a connection with this universe, that we are bound by this universe, and this God is always operating in us. You see, so in John 5:26, it states, as the Father has life within himself, so hath he given the Son of life, the Son to have life within himself. See, that's telling us right there that as the Father has the life, has this wisdom, this knowledge, this intelligence to overcome, he's given it to the Son so that he can have it within himself, so that he can utilize this power, this information to operate in this world to change circumstances and conditions. See, living an awakened life, it allows us to develop our coping skills, or better yet, the internal resources that we have, and to use them to build a prosperous life. And so I want to assist us with understanding this awakening from the perspective of who is God and what is God to me, or more inclusive, who is God and what is God to us. So Ernest Holmes states, we are to know the truth by its fruits. So we know that the goodness that God has provided by what has shown up in our lives. See, he goes on to say, the certain estimate of reality is ever evidenced by its worth in actual living. See, we are not to separate life from living, nor God from his creation. So what it's saying is, prove these things that we say and hold fast to, because then we're building the way in which we should operate in our lives, so that we can have and achieve these creations that we see, or that we desire, that we want. See, one is the cause, the other is the effect. See, in the cause, it's the possibility, the potential of. And then once it is birthed, that is the effect. What comes out of, what is behind. See, this invisible thing of God, they are manifested through the visible, and unless the invisible thought and desire of man is is in line with truth, his acts will fall into error. So basically what it's saying is that if we fall down as we're trying to grow and understand who we are, or we have a mishap, mistake, misstep, and then we start believing that this is the way it's supposed to be, we have told ourselves a lie. We have belittled the power that is in us to overcome this error, this fault, this mistake. And so this is why we're told not to judge, because we are clearly warned not to fall under the illusions of accepting the false for the true. Don't believe that you cannot. Believe that you can. We have to believe that we shall. We have to know that it's possible. We have to accept that it's going to happen, because it needs us to be the outlet, to be the inlet, and then to release it upon the word, speaking our word, so that it can birth into this reality all things that are needed all around the world. Now, everyone may not need what it is that we have, but there is some who do and who will. And this is whom we are just in our circle that we need to continue to encourage, and we need to learn so that we can evolve on the perspective of the power that we have within ourselves. See, being born in the image and likeness of God is telling us that we have within us, within ourselves, this potential to achieve anything: health, love, joy, wisdom, power, and intelligence, which all comes directly from the source. See, this source is connected to our minds and in our beliefs in who we are connected to and based on our actions. See, these perceptions, it allows us to create forms to enhance our lives for the better. When we allow it to work through us, this is the hindrance of all things that happen to us. Somehow, well, through our ego, we jump in and try to take over. You know, it reminds me of when one day I was at the YMCA and I was working out, and I had hurt myself. And so then what I did was, I didn't go within, but I complained about how I feel. And when I started complaining about how I felt, more of the pain became more alarming to me in my body and didn't allow me to finish my workout. And then I caught myself doing that. And then I went into meditation and I cleared my mind of that thought. And then I noticed that it began to dissipate. And this is how we're supposed to reconnect once we go astray. Reconnect. And if we accept the view that God created man in his image and likeness, then we have to accept that God used the best materials available to produce this man, because God only had himself to move upon. We receive the blessings by confessing the good life, praising life, and giving God thanks for it. See, if we act as though we are alive and glad to be alive, and we will gain a new realization of life and an increase in life itself. We should never doubt ourselves. We are not doing it. It is the spirit within that do the work. You see, this God that we love and that we respect and that we appreciate, it is omnipotence, the all powerful one. God is omniscient, the all-knowing, all-perceiving mind. God is omnipresence, the constant presence of the undivided world. You know, as I just stated that, those comments to you, this is not in my notes. I digress. So, what popped in my head was, this is truly who and what we are in our life. We have all the power to do what it is that needs to be done. The omniscience is the knowing, the connection that we can perceive from the mind of God, what it is that we need to do, and the present. We are the constant presence in and have to assist to make the changes in the life of what it is that we grow through. That's powerful. Thank you, Spirit, for dropping that. This spiritual presence is in all, through all, sustains and maintains all. In Genesis, it states about the action of spirit and how it moved in and over all things, land, water, the fertile ground, the animals, and man. The life force behind the scene, acting as law, action to create the material things for our needs. You need shoes? There's an animal out there that has some skin that you can take the skin and you can shape it and you can make you some shoes. You want to make you some clothes? There's some cotton that you can go and you can pick and you can pull and you can mend and you can make. You need some paper? There's some trees that you can cut down that you can make. Whatever it is that we need, whatever material things we need, it is in this world. It is in the earth, and it is up to us to go and extract it from this earth based on our understanding and knowledge, our trust in the power that we have from God. See, because if we reference this God as the Almighty One, the Creator, the ruler of the universe, the infinite, the eternal, man, we are empowering ourselves to step up and stand out and be whatever it is this world needs. We just have to see God not as a person, but a principle. Therefore, we must awaken to our power, dominion, and connection to God to build the life we dream about. Our blessings will not come down until our praises go up. As I stated earlier, the praise must go up. The glory must go to God first. So when we ask God what we should do, He will answer. Sooner or later, or rather, sooner than later, we must grasp that we possess it by our nature. We must nurture it to express it by our consciousness and connection to it. Our belief must match our words or conviction. We must believe that spirit is the only active power in the universe and we can use it. We're to use it to overcome all situations and obstacles that appear to hinder our progress. It acts according to the truth and our belief in it with our spoken word is what was discovered by our nomadic ancestors, and they advised us to use it as a framework to govern and organize our families, our churches, schools, and our lives with the moral conviction to live peaceful and harmoniously. This teaches us that the whole action of spirit must be within itself, upon the law, which is also within itself, and upon this universal stuff which is also within itself. It knows how to deliver and bring about what it is that we need. When we tap into it, when we accept it and we allow it in and we make a request, it guides us to the places that we need to go, where we need to be, where we need to show up, where we need to activate, and then it comes together. It's sort of like how when we say, when you put a seed in the ground, when the seed goes in the ground, it just germinates and the soil, and it just begins to blend, activated with water. But it knows that as it puts itself in the ground, and as the water hits it, the dirt covers the darkness. It grows in the darkness. And then it springs up and it becomes beauty. And it just happens so organically. And we will become more organic in our actions if we just allow it to happen. We no longer judge from our experiences. If we no longer judge from our pain, we no longer judge from how he treated me. If we no longer judge from how she treated me, we no longer judge what mama did, what daddy did. Remove all these hindrances, these blockages, and just say, Lord, I release them to you, and I allow you to help me through it. Help me let go of this pain, this hurt, this sorrow, this judgment that is keeping me from my destiny. And allow me to awaken and stand in my truth. And just let it be. Just let it be. Jesus came along and he told us, God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Believe, know, accept, call on, allow. And once we have a deep, abiding trust, faith, and spirit with the right mental attitude towards God and utilizing the principles of God, man, it will change our lives. See, God is spirit, and the spirit is located and appears wherever it is recognized by an intelligent entity. It thus follows that whoever gives attention to spirit and seals his identification with his words starts a flow of spirit life and all the attributes of spirit in and through their consciousness, to the extent that we will begin to practice and identifying ourselves with the one and only source of existence. And then we become moving as spirit until finally the union attains a perfection in which we can say with Jesus, I and my Father are one. See, we don't see God with the physical eyes. We only see it as he manifests himself through his works. See, here's the thing with God. We can recognize it or not. We can utilize it or not. We can believe it or not. That is the free will we possess. But we create with the law based on our beliefs. You know, I ran across this statement from Misty Copeland, this quote from Misty Copeland. And it says, you can start late, you can look different, you can be uncertain and still succeed. This tells me that we should look at our results and make adjustments, if necessary. See, his attributes are therefore brought into expression by man, by us, who is the Son and who is like him in essence. If we would make of ourselves channels through which he can come forth into expression and manifestation, we must endeavor to raise our thoughts and feelings to God's level. See, the accessibility of God is approachable, available, and usable to all who draw near to him. See, God is spirit, the principle of intelligence and life. It is everywhere presence. And so that's why the Bible states, let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God and believe also in me. You know, and I ran across another quote, Bob Dylan, and it states, there's a wall between you and what you want, and you got to leap it. It is only when we realize and accept that this power is within us and we have the power to rectify, obliterate, annihilate, assimilate, articulate, alleviate, we can overcome. And so Jesus was teaching, you know, in John, it states that he's no longer called the servants, because he said, the servant know not what the Lord doeth, but I call you a friend. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. So it is only when we accept that we have what it is that we're looking for, that we will have what it is that we need to overcome whatever the challenge may be. See, Jesus told his disciples everything they could grasp, and he trained them to take his place when he was gone. See, they were not to be his competitors, but his heir apparent and successor. And that's just letting us know that by us being obedient to the truth, to the spirit, we will, and we have inherited this, and we are the successor, and we will be able to move forth in this life. See, we have inherited the way, the power, and the process to adapt in all circumstances and situations in our lives, to achieve the best in all that we need. So let's awaken and go out and get our blessings with the fervor and dominion of a confident, victorious child of God. Be mindful of our ability, the lessons we have learned, and repeat the actions until they become automatic in our decision making. We cannot be forsaken or lost, only confused or ignorant on how to handle the situation we may find ourselves in. But if we humble ourselves and pray, we can change any and every deterrent with the sure purpose of conquering and controlling our lives with a dedicated purpose. Remember, this is what he promises us. He has promised us that we can. He has promised us that he will deliver us from evil. These are the promises, and this is the belief that we must hold on to if we expect to achieve anything. So affirm with me right now. I allow the goodness, abundant power to work in all my affairs, and I keep my thoughts on God's presence within me. Yes, yes. So let us awaken and unite ourselves to the power that generates and provides all things, and change our current course to and for the greater good for all. Awaken, sons of God. Who is God and what is God to us? God is Jehovah, meaning he who is, who was, who will manifest, the self-existent one. The I am principle. It works through law. The law of God is working out of the principle of being. are the divine ideas into expression and manifestation throughout creation. You see, God has shown up in our lives. We are worshiping God in a way that we knew not of prior to the pandemic. God is working. This world is continuing to evolve and develop and give us whatever it is we need. We just need to get in line and make our requests. We should accept this as a source working through us. We should expect to demonstrate prosperity because it is in an inexhaustible resource and does not care who uses it. God will provide, and we must see ourselves as co-creators with God. You know, here's a way that we can do it, and I call it the 4Ds. And in order to tap into this spiritual power, we must use these 4Ds, and they are as follows. We must have desire, dedication, determination, and discipline. We have to remember we cannot purchase these Ds with coin. We have to understand that they are within us and can be applied at any time, any place, and anywhere we need them. Desire is what is important to us. What is our dream or goal? And how gravely do we want it? Dedication? Dedication is turning desire into action, which requires lasting commitment. It has been said that if you don't make a total commitment to whatever you are doing, then you start looking to bail out at the first time the boat starts to sink. The third D, determination. Everyone wants to be successful, but those who achieve success are guided by an unwavering resolve. We must become self-motivated. The fourth D is discipline. It means doing what we have to do when we need to do it, whether we want to or not. Self-discipline is the only way we will succeed, and it is action-oriented. Setting our goals is not the main thing. It's deciding how we will go about achieving it and staying with that plan. The key is discipline. Once we have our dreams and direction, it is desire, dedication, determination, and discipline that keeps us going. So we should ask ourselves, are we willing to make that oblation? So I tell you again, let us affirm this. I allow the goodness, abundant power to work in all my affairs and keep my thoughts on God's presence within me. Oh yeah, keep God's thoughts. Keep them together, connected. Let us turn our affairs and attention that we see ourselves as vicegerents, and our Father is providing what we need. This earth is pregnant with opportunities. Who wants to produce? Who wants to be blessed? And who wants peace? And who want to be healed? So let us awaken and let us realize we have it and He promised it all. And all we must do is to be grateful, thankful, appreciative, and ask. So I say, awaken to the Father, and the sun will rise. And I leave you with this, John 5:25 through 27. Truly, truly, I tell you, the hour is coming and has now come when the dead, the lost, are fallen, will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who will hear will live, will rise to the occasion. For as the Father has life in himself, he also has granted the Son to have life in himself. And he has given him authority to execute judgment because he is the Son of Man. Awaken, family, rise and go achieve and activate and get involved in whatever it is that you need, you want, you desire for yourself and your families. And know that God is, God will, God has, and God shall. Peace and blessings. And so it is.